All right, let's get right into it. Today we're looking at a pretty revolutionary way to build your very own local, multi-agent AI system. I mean, if you've ever been frustrated by token limits or that feeling when your AI completely forgets what you were talking about just 5 minutes ago, then you're going to want to see this. We're going to break down how to build an AI team that's way more efficient, saves on tokens, and actually remembers things.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to talk about something I call the AI context trap. Basically, why one AI trying to do everything just doesn't work. Then we'll get to the fun part, your local AI team. We'll look at the delegation workflow that makes it all tick, see just how easy it is to hire a new specialist, and then wrap up with how this system builds a real persistent memory.
Okay, let's start with a problem that I know a lot of you have run into, especially if you're trying to do any kind of serious long-term work with an AI. It's all about the limits of a single session. Does this sound familiar? You're deep in a project, you're feeding your AI tons of documents, code, all your instructions, and then suddenly it just starts to forget things. Key details vanish. It's hitting its context limit, right? And your productivity just grinds to a halt. For any kind of complex, ongoing work, this is a massive bottleneck. So here's the bottom line. Trying to make one AI do everything is like having one person run your entire company. It's just not going to work. You burn through tokens like crazy, the context window gets super cluttered, and it's constantly losing its memory. But if you switch to a specialized team, well, now we're talking. You get token-efficient delegation, the main context stays clean, and you get a persistent memory that can actually grow and scale with you.
So how do we actually build this team? The whole thing is built on an orchestrator-led framework that runs right on your local machine. That means you're in complete control.
And this is the star of the show. Meet Larry. Think of him as the project manager for your AI team. You give all your requests to Larry, but, and this is the key, Larry doesn't do the actual work himself. His whole job is to figure out what you need and then pass the task to the right specialist. This keeps his own focus and his context window totally clear.
Now, Larry isn't flying solo. He's got a core management team. You've got Nolan, who's basically your HR specialist. He handles all the hiring and onboarding. And then there's Pex, the researcher. Pex can go out and find information or even scout for new AI agents when you need a new skill set. It makes the whole system incredibly dynamic. It can actually grow itself. All right, now we're getting to the real magic of this whole system, the delegation workflow. This is where the massive token savings come from. Let me walk you through it. Say you give Larry a complex task, like, hey, create an infographic about the rise of electric cars. Larry looks at his team roster and immediately knows, Charter, our infographic designer, is perfect for this. So he reframes your request with all the specific details Charter needs and hands it off. And here's the critical part. Charter gets to work in her own, totally separate context window. And this right here is the payoff. Because that specialist is doing all the heavy lifting in a different session, your main guy, Larry, stays lean and fast. His context window isn't getting clogged up with all the nitty-gritty details of infographic design. You're not paying the token cost to reteach your main AI a specialized skill over and over again. It's a total game changer for efficiency. Okay, that's great, but you're probably wondering, how hard is it to expand the team? What if I need a new skill? Well, the hiring process is surprisingly, almost ridiculously simple. I mean, it's literally a 3-step process. You download the agents folder, which has all its core instructions and knowledge packed inside. Then you just drag and drop it into your main team directory. And finally, you just tell Larry, hey, let's hire this new agent. Nolan, the HR specialist, takes it from there and just walks you through a few quick questions. But hang on, that last step, the onboarding questions, is way more than just a formality. This is the secret sauce that turns a generic agent into your custom-built expert. Let's look at why this is so important. It's because these questions actually hard-code your specific needs right into the agent's instructions. This is where you tell it about your company's brand guidelines, the exact file formats you need, even where to save the final files. This makes sure that every single thing that agent produces is perfectly aligned with your projects right from day one, without you ever having to repeat those instructions again. Okay, let's bring it all home with the final piece of the puzzle, how this whole system builds a persistent, long-term memory that actually learns and evolves with your work. The entire brain of your AI team lives in a simple set of local folders right on your machine. You've got a deliverables folder for finished work, the team folder we already talked about, and folders for shared knowledge and even standard operating procedures. And because it's just a folder structure, it's completely model agnostic. You can use it with Claude, Gemini, whatever comes next. It's totally portable. Now, for business users, this is really cool. You can set up what are called work streams. Think of them as templates for your recurring projects, like a weekly report or a monthly newsletter. The team learns this process and gets better and better at it over time, creating a really powerful engine for what's known as intelligent process automation.
And one of the most elegant things about this, especially for developers, is how easy it is to see what you've made. When an agent like Charter makes an infographic, it doesn't spit out some complicated file type. It just generates a simple local HTML file. You can literally just double-click it on your desktop and see the result instantly. The workflow is just so clean and practical.
So if there's one big idea to walk away with, it's this. It's a fundamental shift in mindset. We need to stop thinking of AI as a single, all-knowing assistant that we have to constantly retrain. This framework lets you build and orchestrate a specialized, persistent, and hyper-efficient digital team. It saves you tokens, it builds a long-term memory, and it actually scales with you. So the real question to ask yourself is, what are you going to build with your team?